We have some super exciting guests today. We have Jack Zampolin from Sommelier. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We have Toby from, let's see, Cheqd, which, if you're not aware, is launching imminently. May have launched Red Hot Alpha on the show today, so this is going to be exciting. I think we also have Alex, and I'm Kevin Berry. I think my co-host will be here soon. Sonny's up here. Just let me know, folks, when we're ready to rock. And welcome.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Good morning, Sonny. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Great. Good to hear. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I stayed up too late last night, but other than that, I'm excellent.
Nice.
I will pay the price later.
It looks like Alex is up here and Jack's here.
Welcome, Alex. Welcome, Jack.
Thanks,
hey
guys.
Yeah.
Once this coffee hits me, I'm gonna be feeling a lot better.
Okay. Noted. Jack, you have a you have a pass, Jack, until that happens. Just send us a coffee emoji.
Oh, will do.
All right. So I've heard that there's some basically immediate news that's going to come out of this particular updates from the lab. So that's quite exciting. Like I almost wish that I was on Osmosis right now, but I'm not that good at multitasking. So, but I believe there's a token launch that's happening. Is that true? We're gonna find out.
Do you know which one it is?
I mean,
I don't.
I've heard it is possible that Cheqd has just launched or is launching. I don't know. If one of our listeners can confirm.
Got it.
Yeah, hey guys. So it is incredibly exciting times over here at the team at Cheqd. There is a million moving pieces, as you'd probably expect in any token launch. We haven't released an official update about Osmosis yet.
Okay.
What's creeping through at the moment in our channels is that the token might or might not be live on Gate, the centralized exchange, very soon.
Gotcha.
And then hopefully soon after that, it gets onto Osmosis and other Cosmos dexes. So we're all very excited here at the Cheqd team. And I think we've got Toby on as well. I can just see him lurking in the chat. So
okay.
Hey everyone.
So don't look for Cheqd on the decks immediately, but it's imminent. It's coming soon.
Keep your eyes out.
Keep one eye peeled. Sleep with one eye open, folks.
Keep an eye on the asset list, repo.
Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, I do want to hear what the updates from the lab are from Sonny, but I feel like just as a trader and as an investor, that to me is like the theme of the past week. Keep your eye on the tokens list, because a number of tokens listed that I didn't even know Panacea was coming. Like there's some that I like to think I'm on top of everything that's coming, but it's happening fast.
Yeah,
go on. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to introduce myself as well. So
yeah, please.
Alex kind of introduced me a little bit. I'm Toby. I'm the head of partnerships here at Cheqd. Great to be on the Osmosis updates from the lab sort of broadcast, and just reiterating what Alex said. You know, it's really hectic times here, but we're really sort of steamrolling ahead now, and looking forward to maybe seeing something on Osmosis pretty soon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Toby. So I think we're going to do a quick check-in with Sonny, find out kind of what's the inside scoop on what's been happening in Osmosis, and then we'll throw it to you folks from Cheqd, and also Jack Zampolin once the coffee slams into his nervous system.
Oh, we're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay, and then we'll take it from there. So what's been happening, Sonny?
Hey, yeah, a lot of okay. So what's been happening in Osmosis so far recently? So yeah, I mean, one was I guess on the asset side, yeah, more new assets. I guess we had Medibloc as well as Panacea. I think we have to go change the name. Technically, the name of the blockchain is Panacea, but like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap listed as Medibloc, and that's like the more known name. And so I asked the team if they want to change it, and so I think we're going to go ahead and do that. But then also Secret Network, which is I think super exciting because they're like a very big project. I think Osmosis and Secret have been like playing jump rope with the market cap. So because I was always like we both Secret and Osmosis have been like coming in and out of the top 100, so that's pretty cool. I tweeted earlier this week that I think like 5 out of the top 30 assets by market cap are built on the Cosmos SDK, which is kind of insane and really cool.
Not surprising if you know about Cosmos, but
yeah. And okay, so then let's see on the development side of things. So I see Daniel's in the audience. He just joined our team recently, and he's just been killing it on helping us with our like organization. So if you go on like GitHub now, you can go on like the GitHub projects, and you can actually see like sort of so if you go to github.com/osmosis-labs, you can see like a list of like and click the projects tab. You can kind of see the GitHub issues that like we're working on across all of our different repos, and like sort of what our project like what our progress is on each of them. So I think that will get that one helps us a lot with our internal organization, but it also can help give a lot more like transparency to the entire community of like what the development velocity is and things like that. Yeah, so okay, one of the main things we've been focused on right now for this week is really just getting ready for the upgrade. There's an upgrade coming pretty soon. Hopefully, I think we're starting our like internal test nets like this week. This upgrade, what does it have? It has a bunch of performance fixes. It has support for the Eth Signing Mode. It has.
Whoa, wait a second. What does that mean?
Oh, right. Eth Signing Mode. Eth Signing Mode means is, currently. Okay, so yeah, you currently have to use Osmosis with like Kepler, right? Because that's the Cosmos SDK has a different signature scheme, or not, kind of a different signature scheme than like Ethereum, for example. But what we actually did was said like, hey, in preparation for the Gravity Bridge coming live, we want to make sure the UX is like for new users coming in from Ethereum is like very seamless. And so new users coming in, having them have to install Kepler before they even like start interacting with the platform, I think is actually like this like pretty high barrier to entry and like not the best UX. And so what we actually did was we created a way where users can actually interact with Osmosis via MetaMask or whatever Ethereum wallet they already have. How it does that is if you ever like use MetaMask on something like OpenSea or something, how it like pops up with like a sign message function where you just have to sign like some message and it's not making an Ethereum transaction.
Oh, I know this.
Chain, just signing it.
I mean, it does this anytime. There's often a thing where it's like, would you like to add this token to MetaMask?
Right, exactly. And so here, what it will be doing is we're actually using it to sign a Cosmos SDK transaction. And so we do that, and then so we have to update the chain to actually sort of understand that as a new signature type. Which it does now, which is cool, and so we can go. So obviously, I think like user should eventually switch to Kepler. I think the UX of Kepler will just be much better than like MetaMask for dealing with Cosmos SDK
I look forward
chains.
to that day.
Yeah, but I think getting them over and like letting them use the wallet that they already have and installed for the first couple of transactions until like they want to start doing more complex things, then they go install Kepler. I think that's like the right onboarding sort of
I
path
mean,
for
yeah,
users.
that's to me is that's UI genius or UX genius, I guess, on your end from the core team, because it just vastly opens the pool of potential investors and people, lowers the bar to entry,
Mm-hmm.
but with people who they're also like reasonably competent. They've been dealing with Ethereum, so they're gonna step into Osmosis land and be like, holy cow, this
Mm-hmm.
is a lot better. Signing like I haven't added new tokens to like a ETH transaction in MetaMask, but I have recollections of it being like, it will be $6 to add this token to your wallet, just to be able to transact with the token.
I mean, I paid
and then have it
hundreds of dollars in gas for individual transactions.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, this isn't making a trade. It's just like, would you like to add XB blah to your wallet? Yes, that will be $3. I'm like, I added this yesterday. You're charging me again to add like what? This is absurd. Like, it's the miner extracted value on Ethereum. I gotta say, it's genius, and diabolical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the whole token approval method on process for ERC20s on Ethereum is like, I don't know, really annoying. Yeah. Honestly, I think like in a way that's actually one of the most sticky like parts of Ethereum dApps is like, if I'm like choosing between like trading on I don't know, Uniswap or SushiSwap. It's funny that like, one of the things that makes me actually go to one of them or the other is which one I've already done the token approval
Right?
for.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm like, I don't want to go do another token approval on the other one as well.
It's true. So yeah, you're right. It that causes some kind of brand loyalty, because you're like, I don't want to pay $5 to add this thing again. Well, screw this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Another thing that Daniel has been working on a lot is there's a docs site that's available. So I think it should be available if you go to docs.osmosis.zone. If not, it should be up let me check. If not, it should be up in the coming days. Okay, it's not there yet. It will be soon. Then the other thing is, if you look on the front end, we've been working on all sorts of like little tiny things right now. Some from our team, some from like some great external contributors. We have like the US dollar value. You can actually like, uh, you know, just like tiny things that make the front end more easy to use. But then we're also like working on sort of like an overhaul of the front end itself right now, just like revamping it. The front end was like the current front end that's being used was sort of built by Tony in like 3 or 4 weeks prior to launch. And I think he did an amazing job with it, but yeah, it's insane. But I think just because of that, time crunch, it has a lot of technical debt to it right now, and so we're just sort of going. It's going through this like refactor, so it's easier to onboard more people to help like build it right now.
Can I just acknowledge the dollar value? I know that you think this stuff is small, but the dollar. If you're listening to this, if you're an Osmonaut, if you haven't gone to your assets tab, when you see next to the asset, like if it's Atom, where previously it would just be like you have 17 atoms, now it says you have 17 atoms and it has the dollar value right beneath it. And I gotta say that, like, just for peace of mind, it's nice to not have to be doing math constantly, because before I would have to go onto the trade module. I would plug in one atom, and see what the dollar value was there, or I would go to CoinGecko or the stats. It's like saving us those clicks. It's not little. Like, that's a big, to me, that is, those kinds of things show that you're looking out for the average investor, whatever, everybody. So I think it's big, and the other reason I'm making this compliment is because I also would really love to see a like global summary, so it could tell you how many Osmo do I have in all pools. Something like that to me that's a dream feature. I'm just inserting that.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I'll lay that along because I think that'll mean a lot to.
We need to clone Tony.
Yeah, we just need more
Ye-
Tonys.
That was my second
anyone who
request.
doesn't know, Tony is For anyone who doesn't know, Tony is one of the co-founders of Osmosis. He's a little bit less public and like out there than maybe me, Josh, and Dave, but he's like really the thing that makes this whole thing work. Tony basically single-handedly built the current Osmosis front end while he's building Kepler wallet, and I think like probably half the chain code base is from him as well.
He also maintains the back end too.
So basically,
Yes.
Tony will never appear on updates from the lab because he's too critical to have to be coding.
Well, also
Right.
Tony, very quiet, nice guy, really awesome. Just loves to bang out code.
Huge hat tip to quiet guys and gals.
And then okay, let's see what else. Yeah. Oh, I guess there's a lot. Okay, so there's a lot more work being done on on the analytics side. So, soon we should be able to get like this sort of dashboard with be able. So basically, the Imperator team has started working now on the dashboard that allows you to track, get the value of all your LP positions. Oh my god.
I think
I
someone
do
needs
like
to
a
mute.
little morning card.
Yeah, a little morning party. Some people, that's their coffee. But yeah, I think that was Brian down there who was doing a lot of fist bumps. Yeah, if you could just chill the Cardi down a bit, that would be appreciated.
Yeah. So so the analytics site that will be able to do stuff, and one of the cool things that one of the things that we did to get ready for updating the analytics site was we have a new API for the info site, which was what is the total volume ever traded on Osmosis up till now? Because currently the info site just shows like the daily volume, and so we were just interested of like, hey, what is the sum of all the daily volumes since the launch? And so I think we're currently at about $2.2 billion of trading volume in the history of Osmosis, which is pretty cool.
If I had sound effects, I would do the applause button.
Yeah, I think that's about it that I have for now. And I'll pipe up if I think of anything else.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonny. All right. So, yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, there's a bunch of new tokens listed, Secret, Panacea or Mediblocs, and now we're going to talk about some other assets that are going to be joining forces with Osmosis. I think, is it cool if we start with Cheqd?
Yeah, that works for us.
Okay, and then
sounds good.
We'll round it out with Jack. So, please talk to us. Give us the
scoop,
the version of Cheqd that smooth brains and mid brains and big brains everybody gets, so we can understand it.
Absolutely. I'll kick this off, and then I'm sure Toby and I will just bounce off each other during the chat. So the way I like to think about Cheqd and the problem it's solving is, if I said to any of you guys on call or listening right now, how do I prove that I am Alex or I am whoever in a digital domain? Currently, it's so difficult to prove trust online. And it's not even only in the digital world, it's in the physical world too. We carry all these physical paper documents like our passport, our driving license, and they kind of work in the physical world. Like I can show a person my driving license and they can sort of look at it and go, okay, I can kind of check that is you. But when someone on the internet says, okay, prove who you are, I go, well, okay, here's my Twitter, or here's a photocopy of my passport. But it becomes so much harder to prove trust online. And what that creates is an ecosystem where there's a lot of scamming, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of distrust. And as the sort of Web 3.0 and metaverse sort of develops, one of the things that we really need to address is this issue of trust. So Cheqd comes from a background of creating what we call digital decentralized identity. And what that means is that each one of us, as an individual or even as a company, can hold in a wallet on their phone, just like you would hold crypto in a wallet, signed and verified digital attestations of your identity. So I could go into, say, a bank in the real world like once, and they could go through my documentation. They could go through my passport, my driving license, and they say, right, we can assert that you are Alex. And I can get a digital proof of that. And then next time I want to go to another bank, or if I want to go traveling, or even if I want to onboard to an exchange or decentralized exchange in the DeFi world, instead of having to do KYC all over again, I can use this reusable digital credential that I've got, and we'll have many of these reusable digital credentials to basically enable seamless onboarding and seamless trust in our digital interactions. So in a nutshell, that was one of the issues that we're trying to solve at Cheqd. And what our token does, so let me go back to the example of a bank that's issuing me a credential for my identity. If I want to go and share that with another bank, so Bank A issues me a credential, and I want to go and share that with Bank B, the token, it comes into play when Bank B wants to verify the authenticity of that credential. Now, currently, they would pay between £2 and £10 to do a full KYC check of me. And KYC, for those who don't know, is like a know your customer check where they go through your documents. So currently, it's between £2 and £10.
Can I pause you for 1 second, Alex?
Yeah, of course.
If anyone has ever had to take a photo of themselves holding their ID next to their face,
there we go.
As well as a piece of paper that they've signed and said, "Hi, this is me," and maybe wrote their social security number down on it and sent that picture to a centralized exchange, that's KYC.
Yeah, and Kevin, just to follow on that, imagine like you had to do that one time, right? And then you want to go do some trading on another centralized exchange, and you have to do it all over again.
Oh, bro, I don't have to imagine. I have those photos.
There we go.
That's the saddest photo album in my possession.
Yeah, so
that's the centralized exchange version of the token allowances.
That is the shittiest selfie on earth.
Yeah, my selfie is the most embarrassing selfie I've ever taken. It's horrendous. But what we're looking forward to doing at Cheqd is basically providing a solution, not just for banks, let's say centralized entities. That's obviously a big part of what we want to do because it's interesting in terms of our token utility to be able to bridge really kind of like the centralized world and also bring SSI as well to the decentralized world. But obviously there's applications here for centralized exchanges like we just mentioned now. And also as well, just thinking in the kind of like horizon of what's going on, and no one ever really wants to talk about this, and I certainly don't want to dive deep into it, but it is interesting to try to bring decentralized identification and a really good solution like SSI, which is fit for purpose, to these kind of DeFi and crypto.
You're falling into the matrix. Hey, Toby, you've fallen into the matrix.
And in terms of what we're doing here at Cheqd, in terms of our token, and Alex,
I think
a little bit deeper into the fundamentals of that.
Hey, Toby, can you hear me?
I think he's having a connection issue.
Was I cutting out of it?
Yeah, you were cutting in and out a little bit. I had a feeling that you fell into the matrix, but I think if you could rewind back to the point where you said something about SSI.
So I'll take over quickly, just so Toby can get back into the real world from the matrix.
Right. Thank you.
SSI is an acronym for self-sovereign identity. And that's basically what I was describing.
Alex,
yeah.
I just wanted to stop you for 1 second, because for people in the United States, or at least some people, SSI is also an acronym for, I think, social security insurance or something. Just this is a different thing. Let's just go back to a bit of basics.
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
So I will just essentially go back to where Toby was. Self-sovereign identity, or SSI, is the technology that I was speaking about before, where instead of doing KYC multiple times with all these different entities, you hold the master copy of your digital data, and you can provide that to third parties instantaneously, and they can verify that it's trusted. That essentially is what SSI means to us. The token.
That's a much better definition, by the way.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, makes it a bit more exciting, a bit more sexy. The token is for payments for verifying the identities. So if I go to a third party and they want to check my identity, they can pay a very nominal fee in our token to do that verification, and it's much cheaper than the current KYC cost. So I will pass back to Toby in a minute, but I think what he was saying is just like in the centralized worlds, or in the physical world where you can go to banks and you can use the solution, you can also use it to in the DeFi world to increase efficiency and to basically make it seamless to onboard things like centralized exchanges. And Toby, you said he's pinging me in the background saying his Wi-Fi is working a lot better now. So I'll let you continue on from where you were.
Welcome back, Toby.
You need to accept his listener request. I think he's dialed in from something else, or his speaker request.
Can you do that, Sonny or Eddie?
Yeah, I'm trying to approve him. I hit approve like 20 times.
I want to mention that I was wrong. It's called supplemental security income, which if you're getting that, run with it, bro. I don't, I've never gotten that before, but I don't want to shit on somebody getting money from the government.
I don't know. Trouble getting Toby back on.
All right, we're still working on Toby.
Okay, well, essentially, I think at this point, we've given like a bit of an overview about what Cheqd is really building and what we're doing. Yeah. No, does it make sense to you guys? Because I think for people from more of a DeFi background, we're coming at this from like a completely different perspective and solving like the identity problem, which maybe hasn't been solved before.
Well, I mean, I know that I feel like I've talked with Sonny about this a bit, about proof of personhood, or creating like a web of trust where you can acknowledge that someone's a real person without having to KYC them. And there is something one of the things I wonder, I know this might not be directly germane to the core like purpose of Cheqd, but like, could this kind of protocol help us avoid Sybil attacks in governance and stuff? If people have a single identity and you have to have some kind of proof of self-sovereign identity, then you could kind of filter out bots, one would think. I don't know, I'm just tossing that out there.
No, that's something that we've absolutely discussed on our side as well. So when it comes to governance, for example, often you might have a whale or a huge investor who maybe splits out all their tokens into different wallets to maybe try and rig votes, or to try and get more voting power than they necessarily deserve. And they can do that because they can spin up all these different aliases on the network, and they control all these different accounts.
Yeah, we've had that in Cosmos a little bit, with people creating multiple wallets to receive more airdrops than was originally designed. More airdrop tokens. I don't want to go too deep into that because it's a little too spicy, but it's happened, and that's also an issue.
Just to be clear, I don't think people did that to receive more airdrops. They had a system that was designed around a lot of different wallets. And
all right, guys, it was Jack. It had to have been Jack.
Definitely not me. I do know who it is, though. They had a system that was designed around having a lot of different wallets. And then, like, the way that the airdrops were designed happened to benefit those folks. So
yeah, but even still, like, to the casual observer, it still looked like one account had 50 wallets.
Yes, and totally get that.
And it could have been exploited by one person, hiring out somebody to help or whatever, doing that. So whether or not that particular situation, we're talking about Juno, and I mean, yeah, I'm not accusing anyone of being gaming the airdrop. I don't fully know everything behind it, but in theory, it could be done, and this could ostensibly be one control on it, if I'm understanding it correctly.
that absolutely could be one control on it. And it's something that we want to work with the Cosmos ecosystem going forward to sort of, strategize on, okay, well, if we're bringing this card to the table, how can we apply it to different use cases, such as this one, to solve some of these endemic problems which are happening across all chains, and not even just on Cosmos. It's going to be across every single chain in the DeFi world. So yeah, that's 100% one of the things that we want to bring to the table, is that proof of personhood, if applicable for the specific use case.
White Marlin, did you have a question you wanted to ask? Nope.
What's up, White Marlin? We can get back to you at the end as well.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this is like, there's a lot of potential curious concepts that come up around this, and I would like to explore it, but I think what we should do is we should bring Jack on and talk about Sommelier, and then with our last 10-15 minutes, if anybody has questions, write them down, and we're gonna bang them out at the end, if that's okay with you guys. Can you hang with us, Alex and Toby?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Toby's still having some issues, but I'm definitely cool with that.
He's fully fell into the matrix, so hopefully he'll be back by then. And let's I wanted to take this moment between guests to just acknowledge a community member who's been extraordinarily generous with his time and talents. Steviewoofwoof has been writing down notes during the updates from the lab's spaces and doing it like an executive summary, pulling together like links and things that we're referring to, and then publishing it on his Notion. And we gave him some compensation from the Osmosis Community Support DAO for doing this, for taking the initiative, front-running generosity. And so thank you, Stevie. And if you guys want to find those links, we're going to be publishing a public folder with everything that we've been doing, or as much as we can, feel comfortable making transparent, in the next, I think, week or so, from the Osmosis Community Support DAO. So you'll be able to find the links there, or just join us in the Ion Governance chat. I think that's what it's called, on Telegram. Yeah. Okay. So next, Jack Zampolin, the notorious.
Yeah, the notorious Jay-Z. Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I can talk about Sommelier things.
Please.
I can also talk about the work that I'm doing at Strangelove for Osmosis as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear both.
Yeah, so for folks who don't know, Sommelier is a project built on top of the Cosmos SDK. We've been very active in Gravity Bridge development. But what we're building is DeFi pools over on Ethereum that are managed and maintained by the Sommelier validator set. And the first product that we're going to be focusing on is Unisoft V3, being able to provide sort of refungible liquidity for Unisoft V3 pools, as well as active management of the liquidity in those pools. You know how Unisoft V3 works? You need to, it's not like Osmosis, where when you provide your liquidity to a pool, you're saying, I'm going to service the full range of prices with this liquidity. In Uniswap, you have to say, I only want to service trades between this price and this price, essentially. They call that concentrated liquidity. I know Sonny's chatted a bit about that here in the past, but that makes each different liquidity position non-fungible. Also, it means that if the price goes out of range, you experience essentially 100% IL. You're left without any of your pair asset. Like, i.e., if you're in an ETH-WETH pool. Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
No,
maybe
I just want to say,
I can make this clearer.
Yeah, you lost me for a second because I was just getting lost in the labyrinthine ways of Uniswap V3. But then when you said 100% IL, you pulled me right back into the fray.
Yeah,
that's definitely something I never want to walk into, that dark alley where I get 100% IL.
Yeah, totally. So, like, for example, if you're trading, if you're providing liquidity for ETH-WETH, and
Wait.
I'm sorry.
For the non-ETH people, can you explain what ETH-West is? Because that sounds like somebody with a lisp saying East-West.
Yes. No. If you're providing liquidity for Ethereum and USDC is the pair, and the Ethereum price goes way up, you essentially sell all of the Ethereum that you've submitted as liquidity, and all you're left with is USDC. So anyway, this may be desirable, and people may like that, but realistically, you'd like to keep your liquidity always servicing trades because that's how you make the most money. Yeah. That requires active management. It requires predicting future prices. So we built this system, including a backend that the validators run, which allows them to sort of pull in a couple of months of price data and run some machine learning algorithms to give a reasonable guess as to what the prices are going to be over the next few days. And then that liquidity is kind of continually managed.
Wait a second. Your protocol can predict the future?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. As far as anyone can use the past and regression analysis to make educated guesses about what's going to happen in the future, yes. But I wouldn't say predict the future.
Okay. I just heard that's something that to me is novel. So that's very interesting.
I mean, this is the type of these are the types of techniques that most large trading companies use to help aid their trades. And essentially, what we're trying to do is give that to everybody and build a system where the validators can bring in arbitrary information and manage DeFi protocols all over the interchain. So we're starting with Unisoft V3, as that's the largest trading venue out there right now. But we're going to be building Cellars, which is what we call the Sommelier managed pieces. It's a wine theme, so Cellars seemed ideal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're going to be building those sort of all over the interchain. So once Osmosis has interchain accounts, we'll be able to build managed Osmosis liquidity and other sort of Sommelier products on top of Osmosis.
Okay, Jack, I don't want to kill your flow, but I want to
kill it. Just ask questions. Let's go. I'm best this way anyway.
I want to kick the tires and also make sure that I'm fully grokking everything that you're saying. So can we go back to these wine cellars, which is a great image. So can you break it down again for those of us who might have tuned out or like trying to grasp everything? What is this? What is the cellar, the wine cellar type of thing that you would be building?
Think of it if you've ever heard of vaults in other protocols.
Yes.
Yeah, so Cellars like a vault, basically. It's a liquidity pool that has sort of this programmatic duty to do something.
Gotcha. Okay. What would be cool is if you could, even though it might not be in play yet, if you could describe a hypothetical vault that would exist on Osmosis or in relation to Osmosis tokens. I think our listeners would also appreciate that, how that would work.
Absolutely. So the easiest vault that you could do on Osmosis is one that, as soon as the impermanent loss for one of your positions reaches a certain threshold, removes your liquidity. That's probably the easiest one to do.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like allows you to set some triggers, some limits on, what you're comfortable with in terms of LPing.
Exactly.
Okay. That's exciting. I mean, I'm curious how people are I'm sure they're gonna have questions about this, but okay, this is cool. So that's one thing it could do. What's something that's not, what's another thing that it could do?
Yeah, you could easily put together sort of a portfolio of different liquidity positions on Osmosis that is managed by the Sommelier chain, and you could buy a share in that pool.
So this would be like an index fund sort of thing, or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I know that in the earlier days of Osmosis, that concept is something that we bandied around for possibly that, like, we're trying to think of what the Ion token could do, that it could possibly manage a fund of multiple tokens. But it's cool that you're providing
Ion's
that.
going to be an ohm fork, right?
Bro, I mean, it could happen. Every sentence about Ion sparks intrigue. So that may be where it's going. I haven't checked the chat in the last 3 minutes, so I don't know. It could also be controlling some kind of VC fund, of Ion, treasury that's investing and launching other forks. We'll see. But
I think you could raise the money for that VC fund by making it an ohm fork and then taking the resultant ohm fork money and doing a VC fund. Just ideas that I have.
Yeah. I hope you're getting that, Steviewoofwoof. Please put that in the notes. That's awesome. Yeah. If anyone has questions or wants to jump in, please.
Sommelier is doing an airdrop.
Yes, we are. We've got a lot more details coming out about that soon. We will be airdropping to very pertinent for folks on this call, Osmosis LPs.
Nice. So can you get a little more specific about that? Is it particular token LPs or any LP or?
We're going to be releasing, there's more information on the Sommelier forum. There's a certain list of pools that we have picked to airdrop to.
Nice.
But yes, that's details there. We'll be releasing more details in a blog post, and those tokens are going to show up in wallets over on Osmosis. Okay,
and what's the forum called?
I think it's community.sommelier.finance.
Folks, go out there and find it. Find the LPs. Get your airdrop of Sommelier or follow the news on it.
The snapshot has already been taken.
Okay.
So yeah, it's there is a predetermined list. We've got some data on that, but please go check it out on the forum. So yeah, that's what we're up to with Sommelier. We've got a lot of kind of exciting stuff coming soon. TM. The launch of the product I described on Unisoft V3 is hopefully before the end of the year. We should have a soft launch of that, and then sort of gathering steam there next year. And once we launch that, there's a lot of other things that we're going to be looking to do on both mainnet Ethereum and some of these other EVM compatible chains. And then obviously with sort of my expertise in the relayer and Zaki and I's expertise helping to build and launch IBC, we're very interested in doing sellers in the broader interchain, and Osmosis will likely be the first place that we do that. So lots more from Sommelier coming over the coming months.
Is there, and so you think, like, just really rough ballpark, but like, would we be able to see a seller that plays nicely with Osmosis, like beginning of next year, maybe, or?
A lot of that depends on the timing of the interchain accounts abstraction,
okay.
Because the sort of whole idea with Sommelier is that the Sommelier validator sets are the custodians and operators that run these different products.
Gotcha.
So in order for the Sommelier validators to act with one voice over on Osmosis, we need interchain accounts. So the Sommelier validator set would create an interchain account over on Osmosis and then be able to transact over there like any other user.
Gotcha.
And then we can build cool things on top of that.
All right, so we have to just everybody follow Sommelier, follow Jack. Stay tuned on the news on that as it develops.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's kind of pertinent for folks on this call and happy to answer more Sommelier questions, Strangelove Ventures, which is my validator company, we also do a ton of work on Sommelier as well. But we've been building and maintaining the Go relayer, which was the first IBC relayer and still used in production. And we've been very active in the relayer community, helping to support Osmosis's growth. And we're huge fans of Osmosis and, big Osmo holders. And we do a lot to help support the community. So if you guys have any questions about that, happy to answer those as well.
Well, thank you. I know we have other relayers that have been listening in. I saw Jacob Dickian of Notional and
Jacob crushing packets.
Yeah, thanks to all the relayers out there, crushing packets for Osmosis.zone. Very, very grateful to the work that you're doing for the ecosystem.
Yeah. Is there an IBC V2 coming up?
Oh,
IBC V2 contains very minor non-breaking. Well, there's one breaking change, and it is to the length of the port identifier. This is some real weedsy shit. But basically, as we bring smart contracting blockchains online, it is beneficial to have longer port identifiers so that, if you have a custom IBC protocol that you've coded up in your smart contracting platform, that you can do that dynamically to sort of a randomly named port.
okay. I'm not going to inquire anymore about that, but it sounds like it's helpful. And I do want to open the floor up to anybody who has questions or thoughts.
Marty or Alice?
Sorry to bring up Ion again, but
never apologize for Ion.
Well, I do hold one coin, so
Welcome to the club.
It is kind of a funky club, isn't it? So, question would be, again, I'm not in the talk group. I just bought it based on some readings, whatever. But
dude, get in the group.
Okay, I'll get in. Have you thought about making Ion, and again, sorry, as basically a Launchpad location for the whole Cosmos world? And thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Simple answer.
If the question is, have you thought about Ion being something related to crypto? The answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
If you go to the Commonwealth, there's a ream, a scroll of use cases that have been pitched. But I like the idea of it being a launching pad I like the big concept, high concept idea, a launching pad for the entire Cosmos ecosystem. I have to rethink that. But thank you, Marty.
What exactly does that mean, by the way? So, I'm actually not very familiar with I know there's these Launchpad platforms in other ecosystems. What exactly do Launchpads do?
Oh, Sonny, it's like the 2017 style ICO thing.
Is that what you meant with the question?
Yes, so, I did, and I think there's 4 or 5 on Solano, and they're interesting. And having done venture and been funded by venture, and then in the 90s and the 2000s, it definitely tickles my heart to see platforms like that. Again, simple answers are fine. Thank you.
So are they similar to the LBPs that happen right now?
No, from my perspective, not.
Okay.
It is something else. It's certainly much more social to me, but I'm no expert.
I see. Cool. So we actually are working on right now this new LBP model, because I actually don't like the current one. And I think the new one that we're building might be much more along the lines of a Launchpad style thing. That I have to go look more into what the mechanisms of the current Launchpads are. But I think it might be much more along those lines. So stay tuned for that, because I think we'll have some more information on it pretty soon.
I'm curious if we can insert Ion into that process. Great. If not, we're trying not to force it into anything. But I do like the question, Marty, and I do like it is in line with the notion of Ion is jet propulsion laboratory of osmosis. Where can we launch, test, try new projects, use it to somehow power innovation.
So just one kind of analog world perspective on this from California, Silicon Valley, and that's saying I'm a really bad person from Germany in the 30s, but
not quite.
But they connected kind of some of the venture, as it were, to Silicon Valley Bank, and I'm not sure where the chairman CEO of the Silicon Valley Bank from that period in the 90s and the 2000s is nowadays, but they certainly made a lot of money doing that, and they, more importantly for me as a guy launching companies, they really did help launch a whole bunch of companies in that connection. Again, thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for chiming in, Marty. Any other questions? Questions about Cheqd?
I think Alice.
Welcome, Alice.
I guess they got stage fright.
Please
Where's
join
Bob?
us. Yeah, where is Bob?
Here's one. A wielding Osmonaut. That is a powerful name.
Wielding or wilding?
Welding?
Welding.
Oh,
okay.
welding, yeah.
Nice. Welding Osmonaut, welcome.
Yo, yo.
Hey, what's up? What's on your mind?
Me.
What was this I heard about the JPL of incubators here? That has tickled my fancy. I'd like to know more.
Okay. That was an analogy for we were trying to think of the point wasn't for the whole question, so I'll be about Ion, but it was about the brainstorm for what could be a utility for the Ion token in the Osmosis on the Osmosis chain, and the idea was Marty asked if we had thought about using it as a launch pad for other projects. Sonny mentioned he's revising the liquidity bootstrapping model, I think, to possibly do that in a way, and anyway. It's an idea that at least I hold close dear to my heart of like, can we use the Ion clawback or use the Ion token to basically invest in and launch other projects and then get an airdrop or something?
I definitely have some ideas for Ions, and I'm going to start to like share more now.
Okay, yeah, maybe we should do an entire updates just on Ion event in the future.
Cool.
I hope that answers your question, Meefs. We're all, I think, would like to talk about that as well, so please stay tuned.
Welding Osmonaut.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, welcome.
Hey, I had a question about Bostrom. So there's this big old thing going on about Bostrom. Can we talk about that and what you guys feel?
I don't know what it is. I defer to the other my co-hosts.
Yeah, sure. What about Bostrom do you want to chat about?
Well, I mean, everybody's saying it's not legit, and nobody wants to vote. Everybody voted no, and basically, what's going on? Are they gonna put liquidity to Osmosis, or is Osmosis putting liquidity to them? Like, how is this? What's this process?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised that the proposal got rejected. Not just because it was actually, I think it's the first liquidity incentives proposal that got rejected on chain, and so that's interesting, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this cyber team has been this like, they've been working on this stuff for like many years now. They are definitely a little bit, silly in their branding and stuff, and like if anyone wants to watch their launch video, I highly recommend it because it is
highly recommend.
Yeah,
highly recommend.
It might be one of the
started it. I haven't finished it, but it is epic.
Yes,
push through the pain at the beginning. It's worth it.
Okay, noted.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was awesome.
So yeah. Everyone who's listening, so Bostrom is cyber.
Yeah. So cyber effectively what they did, I think, was they split their product. So okay, what cyber is they're building this search engine for IPFS effectively. So currently IPFS or like this decentralized web isn't indexed in a way. I can't people have Uniswap front ends on hosted on IPFS, for example, right? But you can't search for a list of Uniswap front ends hosted on IPFS because there's just no search engine for IPFS right now.
Okay, wait, Sonny, wait. Smooth brain question. What is IPFS?
Right. Okay, sure. What is IPFS? IPFS it's a
the Interplanetary File System.
Okay, Interplanetary File System, yes, but it's sort of like a alternative to the web, built. It's built by like this company called Protocol Labs. They also build Filecoin. What it is okay. So the current how the web works today is we use this HTTP protocol, and what that means is when you put in a domain name of a website, what you're doing is you're pinging that server and asking them, hey, can I get the content that's hosted at your server? It is a location-based way of finding content on the internet. IPFS says, hey, what we'll do is instead of being location-based, you search for things by their hash. So let's say there's a website that I want, and it'll have this name. IPFS names right now are these like really hard to find things. It's like this 32-byte random characters. But what it is that's the hash of the content that you're looking for. And basically, when you use IPFS, you say, hey, I want this piece of content, and anyone in the entire network who has a copy of that content can give it to you. In a way,
okay.
if anyone is familiar with how torrenting works, it's actually very similar to that, where when you torrent something, you basically say, hey, I want this song. Can anyone in this torrent network who has a copy of this song start sharing it with me? And so it's not like you're asking a specific person for the content. You're asking anyone who might have a copy of that content.
Okay.
And so
I think our listeners can probably understand torrenting. I'm just making a wild-ass guess on that.
Is that kind of like LimeWire back in the days? You
Yeah.
Yes, I was waiting for someone to say LimeWire or Napster, but yes, I think you hit the nail on the head.
And so what IPFS said was, hey, this idea share files. What if we build the entire web stack on top of that same mechanism, where if, not just for a file, but if I want to fetch a website, I want to fetch a tweet, it will do it by this content based system rather than location based. And so that this is really good for decentralization in a lot of ways, where it's you don't have to rely on one because if you do location based finding, it kind of by definition is centralized. So you have to, it works by asking a specific server.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so that's what IPFS is. And that, if you're rebuilding the internet infrastructure from the ground up, there's a lot of stuff you need to do. And one of them is you need a way of searching this stuff, because Google doesn't work on, Google was designed for this for the web, right? Not for the IPFS.
Right. So this is a big fat middle finger to Google.
Yes, that's why their tagline is, I think, "Fuck Google."
Okay. I didn't know that, but it all makes sense now. So the wrapper around it of Cyber and Bostrom, I think to a lot of people looks kind of wild and unhinged, but the utility of it is as a search engine ostensibly for IPFS, which is this interplanetary file system, decentralized, hash-based version of the internet. I feel like we've wandered into another interplanetary zone, by doing this, but I think we're basically out of time. So, if further questions about Cheqd, which I think to me is also, we barely really dipped into it, and also Sommelier. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Sommelier, that is it.
Please follow our guests on Twitter for updates, and follow us. We can maybe continue the conversation offline or online or whatever.
Congrats on your launch too.
Yeah, no, thank you. And just
congratulations, Cheqd.
Quick plug, if anyone wants a nice surprise, I would suggest jumping in our Telegram channel, and something nice might come to you very soon.
Oh, more Red Hot Alpha from Cheqd.
Right, well, I've got to drop as well, guys, but thank you so much for the chat. It's been really good fun. I'm sure I'll be around.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
can retrieve
I'll
it.
let him know in the Matrix. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give Neo a note to tell him.
Please do. Pass him some pills.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of our listeners as well.
Love me some Osmonauts.
Yeah, and all of our listeners' questions, Marty, Meeps, I can only see the first 3 letters of everyone's names. Welder, I think. Thank you, and we'll be back, I believe, next Wednesday at the same time, same channel.
Yep, we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you, and till next time.
See you next time. Thanks.